In this lecture, which is the lecture 4.1 for module 4, we are going to discuss determining occupant load in a building or a floor, and determine total width of exit. This is the first step in determining the safe exit of occupants from a building or a floor to a public place. On Module 3, on the segment 3.4, I copied a series of materials from the 2007 Building Code, which is still active. And specifically, I'm referring to the table 1004, 1.1, which I have the copy in there. And that is called the maximum floor area allowance per occupant. So this chart shows maximum floor allowance per occupancy. Let's say I'm going to look at the assembly area. And I'm looking at an assembly area which is unconcentrated tables and chairs. So if I look at the assembly area, and you see it on that chart, with unconcentrated tables and chairs, the occupant load factor is 15. Now, let's give an example. I have a building which is, let's say, 60 feet long and 120 feet wide. So the floor area is 60 by 120. That's 7,200 square feet. So this is our floor area. If there is an assembly area with unconcentrated load, with unconcentrated chairs and tables, per this table that you see in the building code, I want to find out how many people can I fit in here. So then the number of occupants will be area divided by occupant load factor, which means 7,200 divided by 15. And if I just use a calculator, 7200 divided by 15, that gives me 480 people. So this is a simple example of how you calculate the number of occupants. Now let's look at, I call this example number 1. Now I'm going to look at the example number 2. Here is a floor area of 200 feet by 300 feet. And this is a storage floor. If I look at the storage area, there is one on top of the table that says 100, it says accessory storage area, mechanical equipment. This is not the one, but at the bottom says the warehouse. So the warehouse, the occupant load factor for a warehouse stands at 500. So we want to find out number of occupants. First area is 300 by 200. That gives us 60,000 square feet. Then the number of occupants will be area divided by occupant load factor. So this is occupant, this is load, and this is factor, which in this case you have 60,000 square feet divided by 500. So if I divide 60,000 divided by 500, that gives me 120 people. So this is the first step. First you have to calculate how many people you have. If it is a multi-story building, you need to calculate how many people are on every floor. And that will affect the number of exits that you have. The next in the process is determining total width of exits. So if I were to make a note here, number of occupants, that was our step number 1, and now determining the total width of exit is step number 2. What do we mean by determining the width of the exit? Let me give you an example. Here is a floor plan. You have a door to the outside here, which is a 3-foot door. And a 3-foot door typically gives you, when it opens, and I'll explain that detail, gives you 34-inch clear opening. And then you have a door here, again a 36-inch door, which provides you with 34-inch clear opening. So given this and this, total width of egglet is 2 multiplied by 34 inches, which gives you 68-inch total. There are 2 doors, each one 34-inch, and therefore that is your total width of exit. To determine this number in a real project, you need to have the number of people plus what is known as a multiplying factor, which is driven from the building code table, and I have put that also in that module 3 section 3.4, which is a table 105.1. We'll take a short break and we'll come back to continue on this.